Hey, welcome to another podcast with a client. This is where I get my best clients on, whether they've been with me a few months or several years, and we talk stories, we talk philosophies, we talk results, we talk real life with real people to help you, the watcher, be inspired and take some action. So I'm here with James Robertson, who is a 47-year-old Adonis right now, and who's had amazing results with TST, but you've applied loads of what you've learned. And you've completely changed your lifestyle around, mate. You've got your dream job. Yeah. You're a husband. You're a father. You're a family man. And I want to hear a bit more about it, mate. So I'm, first off, very proud of your journey and what you've accomplished in just 6 months with TST. Because I've had clients, as you know, for several years who've stuck with me and not got the results you've got in just 6 months. But that's just down to consistency, dedication, mindset, and just bringing it all together.
Pretty much.
You've done excellently. So, but I would like to know, and so would the guys who are watching this and listening along, not right now the highlight reel, because it's all great now, you've got the results, you're feeling good, life's on a good roll. What was it like this time last year, 2025, when you were like Sunday night drinking too much? Like, tell me a little bit about what an average Sunday night was like for you sort of 8 to 10 months ago.
Well, compared to now, it's like night and day. So a typical Sunday for me, probably recovering for the Saturday night if I wasn't working, because I was a bus driver. Mm-hmm. So I had to be quite clever as to what I was doing if I was wanting to have a drink or anything like that. So if I did, usually I'd get up maybe about 7 or 8 o'clock, but I'd be feeling a bit groggy, a bit lethargic, tired, probably a bit grumpy, but I'd still be, obviously, my father and a husband, so we'd have things planned. So it would be a case of just, going through the motions, really. Yeah. There wasn't really any energy, and it was a case of just, let's try and do something interesting, and it was always going to revolve around alcohol.
Yes.
So unfortunately for me, or unfortunately for my family, it always revolved around alcohol. So we'd go out for something to eat. It would have to be somewhere where I could get a pint, something like that. So we'd normally get the bus into Shields, for instance. I'd avoid driving so I could have a few drinks. And we'd go out and have a nice day out, and it would be nice. We'd always make the most of it. We'd go out to the rides down at South Shields or something like that. But I've always have in the back of my mind, we'll get back, we'll get our tea, I'll get a few cans in. And I'd just sit and have a few drinks, watch the football. My wife wouldn't be drinking. It would just be me, having a few pints, a few cans and that. And generally that's what would revolve around. So it would just be a case of...
And that's so normal really behaviour. It's normal behaviour now. That's classed as normal. Like, people get in from work or in the weekend, obviously they indulge more. But what did that eventually lead to? What did you start to notice from the regular drinking patterns like?
I was sneaking them in, to be honest with you. It was just really through all the pressures that I'd put on myself that I'd built up over probably the previous year, through my father's illness and then eventual death. So I was drinking a lot more. I was finding I was using it as a crutch, to get through evenings, for instance. I was struggling to deal with emotions and the pressures of trying to get out of the job that I didn't like, the pressures of the job that I was in, obviously the pressures of being a father and a husband, trying to be the best version of me that I could. I was really struggling, to be honest with you, and I was using alcohol as a crutch and a way to numb.
It's very normal. Very normal. Yeah. It's acceptable. It's easy. It's culturally and like in society, that's just what men do mostly. All men 30s, 40s and beyond, it's like alcohol's just the easiest thing to turn to when stress
everything
is high.
Seems to revolve around it.
Yeah,
any sort of social event, or we'll go out for a pint, we'll go out for a meal, always involves alcohol, football, snooker, golf, whatever. Yeah. Was revolving around alcohol.
Yeah. So obviously you've changed your drinking habits a lot now. Yeah. Right? So how would you say that has changed you? Not obviously physically, it's clear, it's evident. I mean, your veins are popping now, you're leaner, you're stronger, you're fitter, you're healthier. But how has it helped you mentally? Because that's what I'm more intrigued to know.
Giving up alcohol, I can tell you the date, the 23rd of November last year was the last time I had anything to drink, which was a Sunday, funnily enough. What it's done for me since then, the clarity and the energy and the being able to recognise my feelings a bit more, which has been kind of scary at the same time because it's a lot to take in. Yeah. these emotions that I really didn't feel before because of the
Yes,
alcohol.
yes.
It's
That's
really
it.
finding out who I am, which has been quite scary, but only in a way that I've never really felt like this before because I've never been off alcohol 100% for so long in
Yeah.
the past. It's given me all the energy that I've never had before, the get up and go, the ability to commit to
Yes.
a better lifestyle, eating better, just generally, I don't know, just being a better version of me, the better sleep,
Yeah, for sure.
energy.
That's big. So let me ask you, on the 23rd of November, did you
23rd
say?
of November, yeah.
Why that day? What happened? What was your fucking moment? I'm sick of this. I need to stop. I need to start something. What entered your mind?
Yeah.
What was it about that day?
Yeah, I remember it, even though I'd had a few drinks, the alcohol wasn't affecting me as much at that point either, so I was having to get more.
Okay.
So I was
yeah.
sending the wife across to the shop, get me another 4 bottles of beer, please. And she'd run across to the shop. And she came back this particular night, and my son Ben, 10-year-old, bless him, he said, "Oh, you having more beers, are you, Dad?" Just like my wife would say. So he's recognising the patterns of behaviour, the kind of language that's being used in the house, and then obviously the impact that I'm completely missing the ball here and completely missing out the effect or impact it's having on such a young mind, an impressionable mind. And I felt really emotional at that point. I did finish the beers, but it was like a wake-up point.
Yeah.
I woke up in the morning and I felt so emotional about it.
Yeah.
I feel emotional now talking about it.
I'm getting goosebumps, man. I
it's
feel
so-
it, man. I
it's so-
feel it. Because that's the thing. A child's mind is so easily impacted.
Yeah.
And like, they're not going to follow what you say. They're going to follow what they see you doing.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah,
So many guys are the same, and it's so unfortunate, But I get it. You get it. We get it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of the time people think they need a new life, they need a new diet, they need a new job, they need a new this and that. But the biggest thing is learning to handle your emotions, which is what you were doing at that time, was just numbing them.
Yeah.
But now you've learned that actually feeling these a little bit more and doing something more positive and constructive has been way more beneficial. So I had that point where it's always about leverage, right? We feel enough downside with behavior, therefore we think can't do that again, or not for me, right? Or we feel enough upside and benefit to something else, we're like, I must do that. So that's why people stop drinking, for example, because you see your son and you're like, my God, he's going to turn into me. Holy shit, I need to get a handle on this.
Yeah.
Or you get a health scare, for example. That happens with a lot of people. Like, have a heart attack, or they get pre-diabetic, and they're like, oh shit, this could be really bad, whatever. So we get leverage, but your leverage was your family. And you started to see so much drawback to the behaviour. It wasn't affecting you as much. You knew you needed more, and then that's how things become a problem, because it's just like, when's it enough? More and more and more, but then you feel worse and worse and worse because of taking more and more and more.
Yeah.
But you've changed things around now. So since that day, right? So you contacted me, was it the December?
I think it was towards the end of November.
Right. So
I think I'd come along for
yeah.
a trial one night,
Yeah.
and it was towards the end of November, and then I'd pay, I'd signed up for the trial, the trial in full. I think in December. I'd also reached out for help as well at my work. I told my work about it. I felt like I needed to let people know what I was going through as well.
Mm-hmm.
My wife had advised me to do these types of things, and I was against it at first. But I felt like exposing myself, and obviously reaching out to somebody like you, was a, I don't know, not a cry for help, but it was really just a admittance to myself that this needs to change. I need to invest in myself. I need to, really show people that I want to make a change, instead of just saying, "Oh, I'm not going to have another drink," and people, whatever, we'll see you in the pub next week, sort of thing. And
exactly.
do you know what I mean?
People
so
never believe what you say.
Exactly.
They'll believe your actions.
Yeah. So I felt like, for me, from a point of view, I needed to show that I was serious about this.
Yes.
And I felt that I needed that investment in myself. Gave me that extra bit of incentive to follow through on it.
Yeah.
And I had to trust myself that I was going to do it. I was asking for the support. I was going to show these people the support that they were giving me. I was going to kind of repay it by showing them what, I was really prepared to turn myself around here.
Yeah.
So
and it's made a massive difference, because the thing is, this might sound a little bit controversial, and I've always had this thought for quite a while. Like, there's a lot of men's mental health stuff going around, which I'm all for, obviously, as you know, I've talked about it a lot. But the main advice we hear is just talk, or it's okay to talk. And I agree with it.
Yeah.
I don't not agree with it. I'm like, yeah, it's great. But sometimes we can talk about it so much that we get that response, yeah, we'll see you next week in the pub. People don't believe what you say, they believe what you do and your actual results.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think men don't need to just talk, men need to act. Men need a plan.
100%.
They need accountability. They need structure, routine. They need good role models. They need people around them who are not going to drag them out on the drink or just take the piss and talk down to them. They're going to need people who are, I like to call it playing a bigger game, doing things that maybe they would like to do in their life or have results similar. You know, it's pointless taking weight loss advice off your pissed uncle who's 3 stone overweight, right? Yeah. But a lot of people do, like, oh, you should do this, son. I did this back in the day. And like, well, look at you now.
You're just going to humour them and move on. You're like, yeah, whatever. Mate.
Exactly. So, so thinking about, you took action, you joined up with TST. When you came in the room, like, what made you think, like, for the first time, I belong here? This is really good. Like, I'm loving this. What was your first impressions?
Well, I liked what you had to say to start with. You know, on the phone, everything resounded. You know, it's what I needed to hear. But when I came into the room, I was really, really nervous. I'm totally out of my comfort zone here, talking about myself to other people. I hate drawing attention to myself. So, you know, coming into that room, I felt really small, if you know what I mean. But, you know, within a few minutes, about people welcoming me, you know, patting the back, shaking hands, and, you know, being genuinely interested in who I am, you know, why I'm here, what I'm looking to get out of it. It was a two-way conversation, you know, with everybody I spoke to that night. And I'd spoken to a few people that were in a very similar position to me.
Exactly.
Previously, who had come so far and encouraged me and said, you know, you've made the right decision coming here. I've changed my life. And, you know, I had so many brief stories, but so many positive stories within half an hour of being in the room.
Absolutely. Because you become who you hang around.
Yeah.
Even if you're hanging around with yourself a lot, you're in your own head.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not giving yourself the right advice. You know what you should do, but you're not acting on it.
Yeah.
If you're around other people who are on a similar journey, you're always inspired to do better.
Yeah.
And there's so many men, like you say, who are like, they don't really like put themselves out there. They might be slightly introverted, or they're not as confident as they'd like to be, or, you know, and you feel like even right now, this on a podcast, your first ever podcast, everyone that comes on, it's great, mate, because like they're all shitting themselves and like it's just like a conversation. But when it's over, like anything, like it's awkward at first, but then you get this little bit of growth at the end of it. You get this little bit of, oh, I've done that.
Yeah.
That. I was really uncomfortable. I didn't want to do it, and it was awkward, but hey, I've done it. And what's the next thing? It's like coming in the room for a first time. The hardest part, and you'll know this, mate, the hardest part is always starting. It's not the doing. The hardest part of any training session is not the doing the session.
Definitely.
Getting in the fucking car, putting your trainers on, getting here.
I felt so tired yesterday. You know, Luke, before I came to the gym yesterday, I was like, oh, I can't be bothered with this. I had a really, really tough day at work yesterday. A lot of learning, a lot of information, and it was the first realisation. I thought, can I do this? You know, at the job, and I thought, can I do this job? And I had a real struggle, pull myself together, and my wife said, so you're going to the gym? And I was like, yeah. I really had to pull myself together to come in, but once I came in, there was no stopping me. Yeah. So, absolutely. You know, I've still got the sore knee, and I push myself through, and all these little niggles. And previously, all of these little things, I'd have made an excuse not to go. Like the knee alone would have been enough usually before 6 months ago. But now, you know, with the way my mind is, the way that you've kind of trained my mind to be, or helped me train my mind to be, you know, I'm just able to get on with it. You know, with the sort of advice that you've given and Graham's given. So
nice.
It's so true.
That's good.
Just go in and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've talked about, and you've touched on getting your dream job, getting the thing that you've wanted for a long time. So it's not that the job's changed you, you've changed, and as a result, you've attracted more opportunity. You've took the opportunity. So when you were sitting in the interview, when you were going for it, how would you say that your confidence has positively impacted that journey?
Massively. Ever since I've made the change, it's everything seems to have gone right, touch wood. Health, you know, things that have been going right for my family, everything just seems a lot more positive. I can't put my finger on it, and I don't know if there's some kind of mystical force out there that's changed because I've made this decision to change in my life, but that's what it seems like. And it might be a complete coincidence, but you know, I've ridden that wave, and everybody that I've spoken to about this that's been in a similar position to me has said that you'll find that things will start going for you when you do the right things and when you work hard and when you have the right attitude. And that's really how I feel. And I felt like that going into this interview, the interview that only came around after 3.5 years of waiting and in silence. I didn't think it was happening. I'd already set myself up on a different career path. So it came at a completely random time. And it just so happens it was at the same time that I'd really started to make positive changes in my life and seeing positive changes in my body, and it just came at the right time. I felt like I couldn't fail.
Nice.
That's how I felt when going into that interview.
Amazing.
Like everything just dropped in at the right time. Everything was burning just right at the right time, all at the same time.
Well, you've just said two things there, which I thought we need to elaborate on this. You've said two things that have contributed to getting your dream job, getting a body that you can be happy with, getting a lifestyle that you can be flowing and feeling some progress with. You've said hard work and the right attitude.
Yeah.
That's the two things that are the key to any success in any endeavour. Hard work, right attitude. Most people do not want to do the hard work and they have a shit attitude. That is two things that have changed. You have applied the hard work consistently, relentlessly. You haven't been perfect, but it wasn't never about perfection. It was about progression.
Exactly.
It was about getting on with it, not making excuses, just turning up, doing what you can with where you are, with what you've got. Yeah. But also the right attitude. So I'm curious about this attitude because obviously it's changed a lot in the last 6 to 12 months. What would you say now is the main thing that you believe in your heart now that 12 months ago would have been like, that's a load of shit? What would you say that is?
The main thing that's different about me is that I feel like I can do it. If I wanted to go and do something, I feel like I could follow through on it and complete it.
You trust yourself more.
Yeah, 100%.
That's huge.
Whereas before, it might have been I'd give it a try, and then if something went wrong, I'd maybe put it on the back burner for a while. Whereas now, I feel like I can take things, grab it with both hands and see it through. And I feel like I can be successful. I've got that confidence in myself that I can do this. Even that yesterday, when I had such a difficult day, it was the first difficult day on the job. I still feel like today there's a way that I can handle this, and I've come up with a plan. I've got a day off today, and I've come up with a plan to tackle this.
Yeah.
Whereas previously, I'd probably have panicked and put it all on my wife.
Yes. Yeah.
And said, "You need to help me. I can't do this."
Yeah.
Whereas I've made a plan myself today, and I'm confident. It's given me that extra confidence.
Absolutely.
Knowing that I can do it.
Confidence is one of the things that people think you're born with, and it's not true at all.
Yeah.
Like, confidence comes from proving to yourself that you can do something and following through on your word. Like, it's unbelievable. If you say you're going to do it, then you do it. Your confidence, your self-belief, your self-esteem is instantly improved.
Yeah.
You've instantly got a little bit more of a positive chip on your shoulder, which, in a good way, like a very good way. Like, hey, I can do this. I've got this. Come on, I've said I've followed through. I've done my word. Like, it's unbelievable how many men say one thing and do the other. And like you said, this would have been you 12 months ago, just making excuses.
12 months ago, Luke, I wouldn't have been here because I've had a really difficult day today. I've some business stuff that I was dealing with, but 5 years ago that I've been trying to wrap up today, doing revision. I had that many things to do, and I've had a really busy, difficult day today. So, 12 months ago, I wouldn't have turned up. I'd have said, "Look, sorry, mate, I can't come today. Can we reschedule?" Whereas I've made time for it. I've organised. I've had the clarity to get everything sorted out and deal with the responsibilities that I've created for myself.
Yeah.
I've said that I'm coming today, and I'm going to make sure that I turn up. So, I was looking forward to it. But 12 months ago, even if I was looking forward to it, I'd probably have said, "You know what, let's do it a different day."
Yeah.
Put it off, kick the can down the road,
Yeah. And now you're taking more and more action. It compounds.
Yeah.
Every step that's slightly uncomfortable that you take just makes the next uncomfortable step so much easier.
Yeah.
So much easier. And then it's the next bit and the next bit. Then you always got to be asking as well, what's next?
Yeah.
That's how you have a great life and a great future. Because most people are like, well, what's the point? It was better when, and we get that way with a myriad of reasons. But when you're around the right people, I relate back to this all the time, James, as you know, when you're around the right people, you follow the right path. I think when you're around the wrong people, no matter how much willpower, motivation you think you have, you will be dragged down the wrong path.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable how much, the top 5-10 people you hang around with can really be influential to you.
Definitely.
And that's a hard thing for guys to get a handle on, because if they only know their pisshead mates, it's hard then to break free from that, because they might think, well, I'll have no friends if I start a fitness journey, or, I lose touch with people. But I stopped drinking 7 years ago. And that's when you find out who your real mates are.
Mm-hmm.
When you
Oh, yeah.
when you cut back or quit. I talk a lot about, and you know the effects because you've firsthand felt it of taking alcohol out of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not anti-alcohol. I'm not like, I don't point a finger and judge.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But I'm pro me, and I realise that alcohol takes away more than it gives to my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same for many men, but they just haven't found the right circle to be able to, ingrain that into their lifestyle. Because it becomes a lifestyle and a habit. That's why most men drink.
Yeah, of course it does.
Lifestyle, habit, but obviously it's hiding something,
Yeah.
usually, But I know you joined off the back of, stopping the drink, wanting to get fit for your family. Obviously, you had that moment with your son, which is deeply emotional, and it hit you, and it was a good thing. It was a positive thing, even though it hurt. It was like the tipping point. It was the needle push to go, right, I've got to sort myself out here and do something. So to the guy watching this now, who's been debating getting into health, getting into potentially even joining something like TST, like, what would be your advice to them based upon where you were at and the results you've got right now? Like, what would you say to that person who was, if they're standing in front of you being like, you know what, I probably should sort myself out, but this, but that?
Yeah. Well, don't put it off. First and foremost, if you're starting to feel like that and you're starting to think like that, then you really need to start taking some action, because there's no time like the present, and all these little cliches that they're so true.
Mm-hmm.
If I'd have put off joining your TST, and joining the tribe and that, I might never have done it. Mm-hmm. You've got to act when the moment's there. You've got to really invest in yourself, believe in yourself. You wouldn't be thinking like that if the time wasn't right. If that's what you need to be doing, you wouldn't be questioning what you're doing if you were doing the right thing.
Yes.
So if you've got an issue, you don't want to be drinking as much, you need to be more active, then just do it.
Yeah.
You have to do it. You can't just keep talking about it.
What would you say the other guys in this community have given you that you wouldn't have got on your own?
I don't know, just like camaraderie, we're all in it together sort of thing, and knowing that, some of the other guys have had the same sort of background or similar background, and motivations,
yes,
inspirations, and just feeling like we're working together when we come in. It feels great. You get the high fives and that, you get the pats on the back, you get you get the atmosphere of the place.
Yeah.
And you don't get that working out on your own.
Yeah.
If you can't be bothered, you just don't go. Whereas you feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'd be letting you down or letting other people down when I don't turn up, sort of thing. Because when you do come back, when I've had an injury, it's, where have you been? It's like you feel like you might have been missed. It's people have recognised you haven't been there, which is nice.
Yeah.
Whereas you go to the likes of the gym group, you're just another person, unless you're going with your mates.
Yeah.
So yeah, I find that everything's structured, everything's sort of set out for you. You don't have to do anything else, just turn up, work out, try hard.
It's the beauty of it.
Everybody's all
convenient.
Yeah,
convenient. So what is your family like? Your wife, your son, etc. Those closest to you, and possibly even friends. What have they noticed about you in the last 6 months that you maybe haven't even had to tell them about? What have they said?
To be honest with you, I think they've just been more relieved than anything else. They've just. I can't really put my finger on it, but they don't really say. The atmosphere's been different in the house, where we've been able to be more open, we've been able to talk more.
Good.
We've had more time for each other.
Yeah. Huge.
My relationship with my wife's a lot better.
Yeah, that's good. Very good.
And at that point before, with the drinking and all that, if I'd have carried on like that, but I don't know if we'd still be together,
absolutely.
now or in 6 months' time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've just kind of got on with it. We've had a lot going on,
yeah.
And I think generally the atmosphere in the house is a lot better.
Nice.
My relationship with my son's a lot better.
Yeah, class.
I think he feels a lot more at ease approaching me, whereas I think when I was drinking, it might have been a bit more difficult for him to approach and open up.
For sure.
Because of the way that I was.
Yeah, nice.
I just generally feel the atmosphere in the house is a lot better.
Nice.
But people in general, out with my wife, who can't believe what shape I'm in, by the way, have said, Jimmy, is that you? People haven't recognised me because I'd lost so much weight.
Yeah.
Passengers that I'd had on the bus.
Nice.
Wow, look at you. And then other people that had seen pictures of me on that post that you put up couldn't believe the shape that I was in.
Yeah.
They're like, I didn't realise that you had that under your shirt. One of them said, "Oh, you look like a model," and I was all these people, I was like, "Whoa, calm down, mate." You know what I mean? I was like, I'm not used to people saying these things to me, and it was lovely.
It's good.
It's been really, really nice. All these lovely comments that people have made.
Yeah, it goes, and that lifts you up as well, and that makes you want to continue as well when other people start noticing.
Yeah.
It's great when that does, but that's because of your hard work and your right attitude, mate.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Like, people think it's really complicated to change your lifestyle, to get like the stack. They've got to do 12 different things and then 17 things. It's literally be consistent, show up, have the right attitude.
Yeah.
Like, literally hard work, right attitude. Like, it's hard though, isn't it? It is hard. Like, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it because everyone wants the quick fix, and that's right. We know it's hard work and right attitude. Those take time, patience, but in 6 months you've got results more so than what you've had the last 6 years, and more so than sometimes people get in 6 decades. That's like the truth of it. So if you were to total up what you've gained from TST, in terms of, say, the investment you've made in yourself for the year, right, because you've joined the year program, like, how does it compare in terms of like what you've gained back from your confidence, your energy, your health? If you were to compare like the investment for the year to what you've gained back, how does that differ?
The easiest way to quantify that is how much money would I have wasted on alcohol.
That's kind of what I meant.
And junk food.
Yeah.
I look back and how much we were wasting on junk food. It's just crap. Just like rubbish. Eating rubbish every day. The amount of money that I was wasting on alcohol every day. I think we totaled it up. I was wasting something like over £100 a week.
Easy.
On bevy. Easy.
Yeah.
A week.
And then if you went out for a meal or drink, then you're doubling that.
Yeah,
Easy.
100. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So to quantify, that's the easiest way to do it. The amount of money that I've saved, even in the 6 months that I've been here, I'd probably have spent anything up to a double what I've wasted, what I've spent on TST.
Absolutely.
I'd never have got the results. I'd never have been where I am.
Yeah.
I'd potentially been in an even worse place than I was before.
Yeah.
Had I not gone through with it. So it's unquantifiable. I can't really quantify it. It's priceless.
Yeah.
I'm being honest here. I mean, I wish I'd done it years ago.
Yeah. Everyone says that.
I know you've been
Everyone
around for
that.
ages, right? And I wished I'd just done it, and I could have.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I just wish I'd done it years ago.
We all say that. I wish I'd started like the development journey 10 years prior. But well, all these building blocks shape who we are now. And I think now I've hit 40, mate, I realise that my priorities are very different. And I feel like sometimes if we had started this journey earlier, we might not have appreciated as much.
Yeah.
Now I think we've got a little bit more wisdom. We've got we're a bit smarter head on our shoulders.
Yeah.
Like, this is what some people who are still stuck in those cycles need to realise. Like, we're grown men now.
Yeah.
We're not kids anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
We don't need to drink every night and go out on a weekend and get hammered and sniff coke or whatever else we need to do. Like, we need to sort of priorities out. And at the end of the day, I think there's nothing more important than your health.
Yeah.
That is the number one priority. I'm curious, because I'm very big on motivational speeches and creating high energy and giving you something to think about. And I know a lot of things I've said have stuck with you. Is there a phrase or a quote or anything that I've said that really sticks with you that is now kind of a little bit of your mantra?
It's like a motto, to be honest. Your life gets easier when you do hard things.
Yes.
And I've quoted it that many times.
Yeah.
To that many different people.
Yeah.
I say it to my son quite often.
Yeah.
Nice. You need to do these things. You're never going to. Nothing in life worth having comes to you easy. And you've got to keep expanding your boundaries and pushing your boundaries to really sort of develop. And I've never really felt like doing that before, whereas now I do. I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
6 months ago, no chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the one thing.
Yeah.
Amongst many that's really stuck with me.
Amazing.
And I use that really often, and I always think about it when I'm struggling. When I think, can I do this? You can do it.
Yeah.
You just got to apply yourself. Just do it.
You can, and you are.
Yeah.
You're living proof of it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Living proof. Yeah. Just going back to the alcohol thing. Guy who joined recently, Adrian, on the evening crew. What I think is he comes to mind actually, and I can't wait to see his journey progress. He signed up for the annual program now.
Yeah, lovely guy.
He came in and he was drinking over 40 beers in a weekend. Over 40, and he's went like all weekend, 40, 50 beers and he's down to 8.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking huge.
It's
he hasn't
massive,
quitted
that.
entirely, but he's dropped it dramatically. And I think he's gone about 2 weeks now without a drink.
He's going to see massive
And
difference.
the difference in him, like, he says everything, my energy, my strength, my confidence, my relationship, like, everything's just getting better. Because he's not focusing on quitting the drink.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing sometimes, is like, it can go one way or the other. Sometimes when we decide, I need to get rid of this, or stop this, or quit this,
It can be too much at once.
we'll focus on it so much, we get more of it, or we'll get so ingrained in what we can't have and what we feel missing out on.
Yeah.
But when you get into starting a healthy lifestyle, or starting a fitness routine, or starting a health routine, and starting training and lifting weights and getting healthy and out of breath and feeling like you're moving your body,
Yeah.
that gives you a newfound focus. That's starting something
Yeah.
new. Because like you said, you mentioned the phrase, and I hear it almost every conversation I have with every man, I feel like I'm going through the motions. And that's a signal for I'm bored with my life.
Yeah.
And what does boredom create? Chaos.
Yeah.
Drinking, doing things just to create variety.
It's true.
And that's, so when you're going through the motions, you need something to challenge you. A man needs mission, purpose, something to hunt, something
definitely.
to challenge him. Because if you don't like seek out challenge that inspires you, you'll attract challenge that doesn't, just by default. That's just the way it works. And we know this from not seeking out, staying comfortable, which ultimately just attracts misery. You know, too much comfort. A little bit of comfort's great, a little bit of comfort's needed, certainty in your life. But
what's that saying about the devil and idle hands?
Yes, yes.
I can't remember what it is, but it makes work for idle hands. The devil makes work for idle hands, something like that.
Yes, what is it? An idle mind is the devil's playground, I think is another one. Another variation of that. An idle mind is the devil's playground. Because, too much thinking, not enough taking action. That's why men need action. So, got one more question for you. Bit of a deep one, but I'm curious to hear your answer on it. Who is James becoming and on the road to becoming now, from this point forward?
Who am I becoming? It's a difficult one, that, but it's easy but difficult, if you know what I mean, because I know what I'm becoming. You know, I'm becoming the best version of myself. 100%. I'm starting to see the potential that I had. I'm starting to believe it. I've always found it difficult to believe that I've got the potential that I've got, if you know what I mean. I'm starting to realise that the limits, there's no limit to what I can do.
Yeah.
I'm now learning how to drive a train, which is something that a year ago I thought was impossible.
Yeah.
And from that point, I'm starting to think about, well, once I've mastered this, what else can I do? I've got my eye on this, but I've also got my eye on what else can I do after that.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
My life's going to change massively.
You're getting a hunger for progress. You're getting a hunger for a bit more.
Yeah. I feel like I've got the security or the ability, or to actually plan a year ahead. Last year, I was looking at tomorrow or the day after. I wasn't planning, a week in advance, 2 weeks now. I'm looking, a year in advance now, 2 years in advance almost, as to where I want to be. And I've got that confidence now where everything seems to be in place or moving in the right direction. And I feel like I can be the best father that I can be. I can be the best husband that I can be. I can be a role model.
Nice.
More than just somebody that, to be ignored or,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's just the way that I see myself going. And in 5 years' time, I see myself driving a train, looking at, moving to a different job, driving faster trains.
Yeah.
Then after that, maybe learn how to fly a plane.
Yeah.
Who knows?
There you go. Amazing.
Mate,
Pilot James.
yeah,
I love it.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Mate, James, we need more men like you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining
All right,
us
man.
today. If what you've heard has inspired you, comment below wherever you're watching this, on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're getting this podcast. If you're watching it in audio form, comment wherever you can. If you need extra help, send me a message. Find me on Instagram. Find me on Facebook. Luke John Harrison. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, James. That was amazing.
Thanks, Luke.
Class. Brilliant, that. Hey, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, and click the subscribe button and turn notifications on so you are notified of every new video that drops every single week here on the channel. And also, if you would like a free copy of my second book, Supercharged, the modern day guide to creating outstanding levels of energy, motivation, and self-control, then I've got it on audio right now. All you need to do is go to superchargedaudio.com, enter your details, and it's yours to your email inbox for free. Let's go. See you on the next video.